Hi there, welcome to this video on effective preparation for maths and statistics exams, brought to you by the Learner Development Team at Manchester Metropolitan University. Before we jump into successful practices specifically for maths and statistics, let's take a look at some of the revision theory that underpins any successful revision practices. The first that we're going to take a look at is Ebbinghauser's forgetting curve. Now, the forgetting curve just determines the nature of memory loss over time. It looks at the relationship into how information is forgotten at an exponential rate. There are two contributing factors to whether something will be forgotten. That is the relevance of the material to the person and also time. Ebbinghaus determined that revisiting this material improves the rate of decline and thus strengthening the memory. He came upon what is now known as the testing effect. You may find the testing effect is referred to as retrieval practice. Retrieval practice is the planning of frequent and deliberate retrieval opportunities. There are two practices underpinning successful retrieving practices that you may have come across. The first one of which is spacing. Now, spacing is allowing time to forget material in between retrieval of it. And each time, this time is gradually extended. So you may learn something for the first time. Retrieval practice would recommend that you revisit that material the next day and then revisit it again, but this time extend that time in between it. So maybe leave a week this time before you look at it again. Each time the memory should be being strengthened, so you might be able to leave it for a month before you look at it again. If we can plan for successful retrieval practice in our revision, then the memory should be strengthened over time. Let's have a look at a really common revision process specifically for maths and statistics now. So the first thing I would always recommend that you have a complete set of lecture notes available. Make sure that you've got all the lecture notes, all of the problem sets, any tutorial questions that your lecturers may have given you, and any textbooks that are recommended with the course as well. Once you've got that complete set, then try and condense your lecture notes, so picking out the really important bits from them. Once you've condensed those notes, I'd recommend to redo any of the problem sets and the tutorial questions. Try and not peek at any previous attempts as well, and really honestly evaluate how confident you are at each of them. Once you've had a go at them, you'll reach a junction point. Either you've completed some of them with a bit of support, so you could use notes and seeking out alternative explanations to help you through them, and then reattempt them once again, until you get to a point where all of those problem sets are done with little or no support. You may then want to condense those topics onto what's known as a cheat sheet. You then may choose to create some quick quizzes of your own. I want to take a minute then to look at some effective revision techniques and why some are more effective than others. Okay, the first one. This is where most people spend a lot of their time revising for maths. They just look at the textbooks. But it's been proven through research that we only remember about 10% of what we read. This is why some people like to take their notes from textbooks and create possibly mind maps with maybe some visual representations alongside it. However, that's shown to only improve it up to a maximum of around 30%. So how can we make our revision the most effective possibly? Well, the two most effective ways are shown as what we discuss with others and also what we teach others. So working in groups through our revision is known to strengthen those memories and strengthen the effectiveness of our revision. So if you can form a study group, it's really recommended. Cornell notemaking was designed to condense lecture notes or textbook material onto a one side of A4 that could be used for revision purposes. It's about splitting the A4 piece of paper into sections where each section has a defined purpose. So now we need to see how we can adapt this for the maths and statistics purposes. Here's an example that I did taken from a chemistry book. So you can see I've split it up. At the top, we've got the reference of the topic and we've got the textbook reference that I did. The main bulk of the page is the notes that I made while I was reading through that chapter of the textbook. On the left-hand side then, I then summarised these in note form and also gave examples of what types of questions I might be asked that related to them. Along the bottom, I didn't think it was necessary for maths to summarise yet again what I'd done on the left-hand side. So instead, I used this to pick out appropriate questions from the exercises that I could then practice that related to those on the left-hand side. And you can see I've colour coordinated them. So just to summarise, the title in brief goes at the top, including any book and chapter references that you may want. The main notes of the page can be as much or as little as you need. You can draw diagrams to back up the learning. You lay out the steps and processes in detail and pick out any notation or keyword definitions that you feel you might need to remember. On the left-hand side, after you've done those notes, then make a summary of those key points. And at the bottom, I recommend putting some examples. Make sure you complete them as well. Thank you for watching the video today. If you have any questions, then please get in touch with us. You can get in touch with us via the study skills at mmu.ac.uk learner development email box.